What's up, YouTube? When we're talking premature ejaculation, we got to understand that it's just premature energy in general. And we got to understand the correlation between iron and premature ejaculation. Iron, again, is the lifeblood, so it is always in the conversation or the topic of discussion, especially when it comes to premature ejaculation. We're talking about, first of all, anybody with lack of blood flow. When your blood isn't flowing properly, again, I got my last video is all about the blood, but it's very difficult for you to stay totally your being, and like in totality, in a moment, I should say. You'll jump from pieces of your being because you're not flowing correctly. You'll jump from the beast to your heart, to your true self. That's why people have these flashes of excellence or these flashes of supposed evilness or wickedness, and then you have those flashes of pure creativity, or these times when you know you can do stuff, or these flashes of intuition. All that type of stuff is because you're not being all of you at once. You're only being pieces of you. So that just comes really, a lot of that comes from misalignment, and again, it's just a whole cycle that goes with just lack of blood flow, low iron, low oxygen, and misalignment, because it's just so many things that create this one problem. Basically, it's really rigor mortis. The body is caving in on itself, and most people have no core strength. And that midsection, all that is just bloated for most people, inflamed, just filled up with years of just gunk, all in here. So all of that is basically creating a hazard for your posture and your flow, your energy flow. Like, and again, posture or your posterior or your back means your past. So again, most people are eating for emotional reasons out of things that happened to them in their past. Things that happened. Lower back would mean you're worried about money. The higher up you go in the back, the more refined your concerns are. Lower back, again, root chakra, lower you are. So it'd be like food, sex, self-preservation, those things. And then the higher you go up the back of the chakra system, the concerns are different. So if you have an upper back problem, it's more so things like love issues or creativity issues. You're not expressing yourself properly, so there's a misalignment there. Things aren't flowing. Again, we need to live orgasmically, or what's a better word for it? Because people don't like using the word orgasmically. You know, live in ecstasy or be ecstatic in every part of your being. It's not to live to be in ecstasy is not is not something that people would necessarily think when they think of ecstasy. Being ecstatic is just to have high sense and high intensity, so that you can feel life the way and fully. Because people don't even understand how life's supposed to feel, how their body's supposed to feel. So a lot of that just comes with the antenna being broken, human body being broken, and not getting the channel it's supposed to get. And it's because it's just breaking down, and it's just basically rigor mortis. Worms are eating most people, and they are developing rigor mortis. How is that not any different from being in a casket? You probably go get in a box every day to go get in a box to go eat food out of a box so that you can continue the cycle of getting in boxes. So it really is no different. It really is no difference here from being dead. So there's a difference. Like, you can survive, I guess, but living is another thing. So when we look at things like premature energy, we can look at it in a sense of like any riot, like the Baltimore thing or whatever. Any of these riots are basically a busted nut. Energy building up and busting. The iron going to one place and blowing up. So this is, of course, by design. It's like stuffing a pig. It's like you just let things boil over, and then you just cooking your food. Basically, it's basically what's going on. So it's a tulpa, or a sacrifice, if you want to look into that. Tulpas and sacrifices. Anybody that's seen a skeleton key pretty much knows what I'm talking about. Body snatching in different forms, and it only takes a second, if that. It only takes a breath, really, and it's just crystallizing us in this matrix. That's really what it comes down to, is being further, more and more calcified, because all cholesterol is calcified plaque, all that. So people's veins are calcified, the brain is calcified, every part of them is more crystallized. The blood is liquid crystal. So as the blood is slowly getting thicker and thicker and not flowing as it should, and just becoming like people put oil in their cars before they clean their own blood. You'll get an oil change before you drink some red clover tea. That is crazy to me. Like, to me, that is just like the priorities. Again, it's just why the distraction, it's a whole nother level of distraction and prioritizing, and that just comes from not being aligned properly and not getting the messages from yourself, not being full of the knowledge itself. So you will be hungry. You will be starving, and the more you're full of yourself, the less hungry you'll be. So it's just about learning how to think instead of what to think. Once you've restructured your own internal dialogue, it's much easier to change things. It's much easier to view yourself uh, from different perspectives and to change your own cycles. So with posture in general and premature ejaculation, these are all going to come down to a few core things: the blood flow, the way you breathe. Are you breathing from your diaphragm? Do all these things? And when you exhale, it's supposed to be a massage of the organs. You inhale from the diaphragm, then you exhale and suck in to blow it all out. So that massages your organs. And if you can't maintain a pressure on your sphincter, in your rectal area, you have too much food in your system. So that if you can maintain a pressure there and a pressure at the top of your roof of your mouth, and breathe properly throughout your day, the kundalini, that energy, or whatever you want to call it, from the base of your spine up your neck through the top of your skull, all of that energy, it will flow freely. The craniosacral rhythm, that whole flow of energy from the base of the body, the core of the body, outward, that flow will be perfect. So if your intestines are clear, your posture will clear up. Then you'll consciously change your posture, and then it will just rapidly change. And then your hips will be able to expand the way they want to expand. So you'll be able to have sex properly. People aren't even having sex properly. The blood flow isn't flowing properly, so it creates that pockets of energy. The iron isn't going where it should go, and then people don't breathe right, so they explode during sex, so they bust. And it's just got a lot to do with getting in touch with your own breath, getting in touch with just your body in every way. And it's, of course, the same thing with your partner. So it's it just premature ejaculation is an epidemic in a sense, because all ejaculation is really premature. If the person doesn't know what they're doing, what they're creating, the energy is going to something to make something manifest in its reality. And anytime your will is used against you or unconsciously, uh, it just creates haphazard creation and just more problems in the energy field as a whole. So when you get in control of your blood flow, and of your breathing, and then you will have control of your blood flow. Then you can feel the different points in the penis itself, of how to control the blood in the penis itself. So it's like a personal situation there where you can control that during the whole act. And then if you're breathing properly and the other person is breathing properly, then you'll feel the energy start to cycle through both of you. And then you'll be able to just last longer. So if there's no pressure from the inside, again, should be able to maintain a pressure on the sphincter throughout your day regardless. You should be able to press on that. That's why you should have your shit together. That's why you shouldn't be eating snacks. Snacks is for animals. You're animated, but that's the animal part of your being. You don't let that control you. So if you have pressure from the inside on your prostate from the food because your shit isn't together, then it'll be much easier to explode. Because it's harder to breathe, the blood's not flowing right, there's already internal pressure, there's external pressure from the whole sexual act, of course. Probably a person that has a parasite themselves drawing the life force out of you. And there's nothing that ages you quicker than busting. So you have plenty of females out here that just run a male dry. The male knows nothing about his own hormones. He knows nothing about how to regenerate. He knows nothing about the damage he's doing. He knows nothing about anything. He doesn't know about saw palmetto, sarsaparilla. He doesn't know about these things. He doesn't know about yellow dock. He doesn't know about cleaning his blood or these things. So with most females, they'll just totally deplete the male's life force. He'll give it away. So it's a dual problem there. He'll give it away then it'll create a resentment, especially if she's cooking for him. So it's even more resentment because the food creates even more of a problem with impotence and all this and the premature ejaculation. So then it's even more resentment that just snowballs and snowballs. Then she leaves him and he's even more broken. I mean, and then as older people get, the will is broken, then people end up staying together. And then now it's just constant, that, and it's just friction, just constant friction, and then there's no fluidity because the oxygen flow, the iron flow is there, it's gone. So then sex will be gone. You gave up all the sexual, all the iron, you're not regenerating, it's going to be gone. It's not going to come back unless you regenerate, and that's something that everyone has to do. It's just like, if you inhale, you got to exhale. It's like if you give, you get. If you get, you give. So that's how it goes. You got to keep the flow going, or there's some sort of parasite going on, some sort of parasitic activity. So you got to ask yourself if this video is too long.